We're going to start with our first set of rules that have to do with commas. There are many rules that have to go with commas because people tend to just put commas wherever they feel the need to, but that is not good practice. They're only used to separate, combine, emphasize, or clarify. You don't put a comma in a sentence just because you think, oh, it looks good there, or oh, I think there should be a pause there. Wherever you see a comma, there's always a grammatical reason for that comma to be there. So there are 3 guidelines you need to remember when using commas, and the first one is what I just stated. You only use a comma when there's a grammatical reason to do so. Don't put it there because you think it looks good, because you think it's needed. You need to know the rules, and you have to think to figure out, well, does a comma need to go here, or is there another piece of punctuation that can go here? The second guideline is not to overuse commas. Again, some people just place them in there because it looks good, and they end up having 17 commas in one sentence, and that does no good. And third, learn the comma rules, apply them, and save the exceptions for later. So we're going to go over 2 comma rules with this review. And the first comma rule is that you use a comma before a coordinating conjunction that separates independent clauses. Now, I know we've gone over coordinating conjunctions, which are fanboys, right? But we've not really talked about independent clauses, so I'm going to briefly talk about that right now. Independent clauses are just sentences that can stand by themselves. They need nothing else to help them be a sentence. So, my second bullet, it says this means use a comma before a fanboy when you have a sentence on the right of the fanboy and on the left of the comma. A lot of people want to add the fanboy as part of the sentence, but it's not. The comma and the fanboy are just like links in a chain. It just connects one sentence to another sentence. And if you look at the 2 examples we have, we left for the airport 2 hours early, comma, but we still missed our flight. Now that's what I was talking about. To the left of the comma, you have a sentence, we left for the airport 2 hours early. And then to the right of the fanboy, you have a sentence, we still missed our flight. So in order to join those correctly, one way is to do the comma with your fanboy. And if you'll notice the second one, but we left for the airport 2 hours early but still missed our flight. We have a coordinating conjunction, but we do not have a comma. And the reason there is no comma is because what is to the right of the fanboy is not a sentence, still missed our flight. So that is the reason there is no comma there. I'm not going to really do practice with you, but I am going to go over a few of the practice that I'd like for you to do. Your directions say for you to read the following sentences, add commas where needed, and write correct next to the ones that need no commas. So, if the sentence needs a comma, you're going to have to write the sentence and place the comma where it needs to go. If the sentence does not need a comma, you just need to write the word correct. The example you are given says he volunteered to work at the park and he picked up garbage for 2 hours. Alright, we have our fanboy, which is and. So we look to the right of the fanboy. He picked up garbage for 2 hours. That is a complete sentence. Now we need to look to the left. He volunteered to work at the park. That is a complete sentence. So we can place a comma in front of the fanboy. Now we'll do number 1 together, and then you have 9 others to do by yourself. Number 1 says Gordon packs quickly and efficiently for his job, requires frequent traveling. This one has an unusual fanboy that we typically don't use very often in our writing, but the first fanboy, the F, is the for. So we look to the right. His job requires frequent traveling. That is a sentence. Now we look to the left. Gordon packs quickly and efficiently. That is a sentence, so you would need to place a comma right before for. So if you'll take time to do 2 through 9. 2 through 10. Okay, here's comma rule number 2. You use commas to separate items in a series. So it's essentially saying a series is just a list. If you have a list of items, a list of phrases, a list of clauses, it doesn't matter. If there's a list, you need to put commas. So we have 3 examples. It's a series of nouns. We serve chicken, rice, and asparagus at the wedding. If you'll notice, there are commas separating chicken, rice, um, and from asparagus. A series of prepositional phrases. The defense attorney mailed the documents to her client, to the prosecutor, and to the judge. You'll notice all the prepositional phrases are in italics and that commas have been used to separate them because we are listing them. In a series of clauses, parents usually care about what their teenagers do, where they go, and how much money they spend. Now, the only time you would not use a comma in a list is when you have conjunctions that are there for emphasis. So, for example, the villain was irrational and greedy and cruel. We don't want to put our commas before the ands because the ands are there for emphasis to really tell us this villain is not a good guy. Now, for you to practice, your directions ask you to, in the following sentences, add commas where needed and write correct if no comma is needed. So if the sentence needs a comma, you will need to write the sentence. If the sentence does not need a comma, all you have to do is write correct. Your example says we pulled weeds, watered the flowers, and cut the grass. And if you'll notice, there are commas after the verb phrase. Pulled weeds, watered flowers, and then the last one is cut grass. So take your time and do, I believe, just these 5.